Okay, we're in 1 Kings 21 and verse 19. And thou shalt speak unto him, saying, for Elijah to speak unto Ahab, thus said the Most High Power, hast thou killed, and also taken possession? And thou shalt speak unto him, saying, thus said the Most High, in the place where dogs licked the blood of Naboth, shall dogs lick thy blood, even thine. And Ahab said to Elijah, hast thou found me, O mine enemy? And he answered, I have found thee, because thou hast sold thyself to work evil in the sight of the Most High. Behold, I will bring evil upon thee, and will take away thy posterity, and will cut off from Ahab him that pisses against the wall. That's all men, boys. And him that is shut up and left in Israel. And will make thine house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. You know, Jeroboam built 2 calves. Said, this who brought us out of the land of Egypt. And like the house of Baasha, the son of Ahijah. For the provocation wherewith thou hast provoked me to anger and made Israel to sin. And of Jezebel, that's Ahab's wife, also spake the Most High, saying, the dog shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. Him that dieth of Ahab in the city, the dog shall eat. And him that dieth in the field shall the fowl, the birds of the heavens, of the air eat. But there was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of the Most High, whom Jezebel, his wife, stirred up. Hear that? This wicked Jezebel stirred Ahab up. That's why Most High said, but there was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of the Most High, whom Jezebel, his wife, stirred up. And when the Most High said, don't get with these other nations, they're going to turn your mind away from following him. Here it is right here, prime example. And he did very abominably in following idols, according to all things as did the Amorites, the people that the Most High got rid of to give us their land, whom the Most High cast out before the children of Israel, see? And it came to pass, when Ahab heard those words, this is what he did, that he rent his clothes and put sackcloth on his flesh, put burlap on his flesh. He the king. And fasted and lay in sackcloth and went softly. And the word of the Most High came to Elijah the Tishbite, saying, seest thou how Ahab humbled himself before me? Because he humbled himself. You can't tell me that. This man is, look, let's go back a few verses. Let's go back a few verses. Go back to verse 25. But there was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of the Most High, whom Jezebel, his wicked wife, stirred up, you see. But he humbled himself. He put on sackcloth. He ripped his clothes. That's the clothes that was, looking all vested in honor. He ripped those and put on sackcloth, burlap clothes. Put sackcloth on his flesh and fasted. Stop eating, stop drinking. And lay in sackcloth, humility, and went softly. He wasn't so harsh then. And the word of the Most High came to Elijah, verse 28, and to Tishbite, saying, seest thou how Ahab humbled himself before me? Because he humbled himself before me, I will not bring the evil in his days. But in his son's days will I bring the evil upon his house. So he's going to bring his evil on his son's days. He's going to bring the evil upon his house, he's saying. So now, let's go to 2 Chronicles 18. Mosiah is something else. Let's see. 2 Chronicles 18 and 18. It's again, he said, therefore, hear the word of the Most High. He said, I saw the Most High sitting upon his throne. It's a vision that he's having. And all the hosts of heaven, all the angels standing on his right hand and on his left. So he's seeing the angels on his right hand of the Most High and the angels on the left hand of the Most High, right? And the Most High said, who shall entice Ahab, king of Israel, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? So who is going? It's a council in the heavens that he's seeing a vision of, with angels on his right hand, and angels on the left hand, spirits on the right hand, spirits on the left hand, right, of the Most High. So he's asking, who's going to entice Ahab, who is king of Israel, that he may go up and fall or die or be murdered or be killed at Ramoth Gilead? Listen, and one spake saying after this matter, and another spake after that matter. They all coming up giving their analysis of how I can go down there and kill this dude. How this dude be put to death when he go to Ramoth Gilead, right? Then there came out a spirit. One angel, tells you in Psalms 104 and 4, Most High maketh his spirits angels. His ministers a flaming fire, bringing forth the word of the Most High. So it says, then there came out a spirit or an angel and stood before the Most High and said, I will entice him. So I'll go down there and entice him. And the Most High said unto him, wherewith? How you going to do it? And he said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And the Most High said, thou shalt entice him, and thou shalt also prevail. Go out and do even so. So he said, I'm going to go down and lie to all his prophets. Like you got a lot of people on this earth right now, been lied to. Still bringing forth them lies. The same lies we learned in slavery, the same lies you bringing forth all the way to this day. Something wrong with that picture. That's why I say hallelujah to the Most High to open up our minds to be able to see this truth and understand what this Bible is talking about. He said, go out and do even so. Now therefore behold, for all you holy rollers out there that don't know the Most High have put a lying spirit in the mouth of these thy prophets. Now therefore, behold, the Most High have put a lying spirit in the mouth of these thy prophets, and the Most High have spoken evil against thee, because he was evil. Therefore he drawn the evil to him. Then Zedekiah the son of Chenaanah came near and smote Micah upon the cheek and said, which way went the spirit of the Most High from me to speak unto thee? And Micah said, behold, thou shalt see on that day when thou shalt go into an inner chamber to hide thyself. Then the king of Israel said, take ye Micah and carry him back to Ammon, the governor of the city, and to Joash the king's son, and say, thus say the king, put this fellow in the prison and feed him with bread of affliction and with water of affliction until I return in peace. Say, put him in prison till I return in peace. And Micah said, if thou certainly return in peace, then have not the Most High spoken by me. And he said, hearken, all ye people. He said, you return in peace, the Most High has not spoken by me. So the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, went up to Ramoth Gilead. And the king of Israel said unto Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself and will go to the battle, but put thou on thy robes. So the king of Israel disguised himself, and they went to the battle. So he disguised himself so nobody would recognize that he's King Ahab. Now the king of Syria had commanded the captains of the chariots. Remember, the Most High put a lying spirit in the mouth of his prophets, right? Now the king of Syria had commanded the captains of the chariots that were with him, saying, fight ye not with small or great, save only with the king of Israel. And it came to pass, when the captains of the chariots saw Jehoshaphat, that they said, it is the king of Israel. He looking like the king. He put on the robes of the king, right? It's the king of Israel. Therefore they compassed him. They compassed about him to fight. But Jehoshaphat cried out, and the Most High helped him. The Most High moved them to depart from him. They was getting ready to kill him. He cried out, I ain't the king. The Most High helped him so they wouldn't kill him. But it came to pass that when the captains of the chariots perceived that it was not the king of Israel, they turned back again from pursuing him. So they stopped, pursuing him. Remember, this is all disguise. Ahab gonna go up here to Ramoth Gilead with a disguise on. He got Jehoshaphat acting like he's the king. And a certain man, verse 33, drew a bow at a venture and smote the king of Israel between the joints of the harness. Therefore he said to his chariot man, he shot him with that bow. Whew. Turn thine hand, Ahab told his chariot man, turn thine hand, that thou mayest carry me out of the host, carry me out of this army, out of this war, man. For I am wounded. And the battle increased that day. Howbeit the king of Israel stayed himself up in his chariot against the Syrians until the evening. And about the time of the sun going down, he died. So he's finished. You see. That's how King Ahab died. Now, let's go to 2 Kings, the 9th chapter. 2 Kings, the 9th chapter. Let's look at this Jezebel. His wife. Let's look at let's start at verse 30. And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel, that's Ahab's wife, heard of it, and she painted her face. That's why they call the women Jezebel. See, she painted her face and tied her head and looked out at a window, right? And she painted her face and tied her head, you see, and looked out the window. She adorned her eyes with paint and, how y'all put on that makeup and all that. She adorned herself. That's why they say you look like a Jezebel. That's where that comes from. Got that eye makeup on and all that. Now they wearing lashes and so forth. And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and tied her head, adorned her face with makeup and eyes, putting that eye shadow on and whatever how y'all be doing, and eyelashes and all that stuff. Ain't nothing new under the sun. And looked out at a window. And as Jehu entered in at the gate, she said, have Jezreel priests who slew his master? And he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs. So he said, who's on my side? And these 2 or 3 eunuchs looked out, right? And he said, throw her down. Talking about Jezebel. Say, throw her down. So they threw her down. And some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses. And he trod her underfoot. He had the horses stomp her. And when he had come in, he did eat and drink and said, go, see now this cursed woman and bury her. Say, go see this cursed woman and bury her. After he done stomped her with the horse. Left her there. Went in to eat and drink. Taking this, eating and drink. Getting his grub on and his drink on. And said, go, see now this cursed woman, talking about Jezebel, and bury her, for she is a king's daughter. And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull and the feet and the palms of her hands. Remember the Most High said the dogs gonna eat her up? Wherefore they came again and told him, and he said, this is the word of the Most High, which he spake by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, in the portion of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel, and the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, this is Jezebel. You couldn't say, this is Jezebel. You just see the skull. They done ate all the meat off the skull. See the skull? You see the palm of the hands and her feet. That's it. And the feet, and the palms of her hands, and the skull. So that's how Ahab and Jezebel live up out of hell. Look at Numbers 25 and 31. Numbers 25, 31. Numbers 25 and 31. Looking at Astoreth. Numbers 25 and 3. Select here. Let's start at 1. And Israel abode in Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. You hear that? What's that called? You go to these other nations, you say that's whoredom. They committed whoredom with the daughters of Moab. The indigenous Chinese, so-called Chinese. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their idols. And the people did eat and bowed down to their idols. Remember Psalms 96 and 5, for all the gods of the nations are idols. So the people did eat and bowed down to their idols. You see this? This is real, y'all. And Israel joined himself unto Baal/Peor. You see? And the anger of the Most High was kindled against his Israel. And the Most High said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Most High against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Most High may be turned away from Israel. To take all the heads of Israel and hang their heads against the sun. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay, kill ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal/Peor. That's what my Shai told you. I mean, come on. Look. Y'all want to run from, y'all, it's probably harsh to you. It's too much for you, right? But let's go to your Jesus. Let's see what he said. His own people, we still talking dealing with Israel. We ain't talking about nobody else. Luke 19 and 14. But his citizens, his own people, the Israelites, hated him. Let's talk about the Mashiach Yahushua, the one y'all call Jesus Christ. Look, but his citizens hated him and sent a message after him saying, we will not have this man to reign over us. We ain't going to have this man to reign over us. What'd he say? Luke 19:27. But those mine enemies, this is what he said, but those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, his own people, his own citizens, hated him and said, we'll not have this, send a message to him, say, we'll not have this man reign over us. He said, but those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me. That's your Jesus. Is that him? I bet you they ain't reading that up in the church. But that's a Mashiach Yahushua. Because he's coming to judge and make war. Revelation 19:11 says. He's going to rule everybody by the rod of iron. What you hearing now? The word of the Most High. His law, statutes, commandments. Let's go back to Numbers 25. Verse 5. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, kill ye every one his men that were joined unto Baal/Peor. That deity, that evil, wicked idol. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses. A Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses. And in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, because they were put to death. They seeing death. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he saw him bring this Midianitish woman that's not an Israelite before the whole congregation. When he seen this, he rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand, and he went after the man of Israel into the tent, followed him into his tent with this Midianitish woman that he was with, and thrust both of them through. He killed both of them, the man of Israel and the woman, through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. So I look at a lot of things that be happening to us because these wicked things are going on in our worlds of Israel. And those that died in the plague were, how many? 24,000. 24,000. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the one that went in and killed the Israelite man and the Midianitish woman, the son of Aaron, the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Israel. Because people don't know. They tell you Exodus 53, the Most High is a man of war. The Most High is his name. And by him doing this act of killing the Israelite man and that Midianitish woman, you see, what he told us, the children of Israel, the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab and did sacrifices unto their idols and served their idols and bowed down themselves to their idols. And that angered the Most High. Y'all better hear what's happening. Verse 11. Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy, because they were following other idols. He said, all you need is me. Wherefore say, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his power and made an atonement for the children of Israel. That's what this is about. Most High stopped killing after he had killed 24,000 of us, because he went in and killed the Israelite man that was with the Midianitish woman. He said he was zealous for the Most High. We follow these other nations' idols, which y'all call gods. Now the name of the Israelite that was slain, even that was slain with the Midianitish woman, was Zimri, son of Salu, a prince of a chief house among the Simeonites. He was a Simeonite. And the name of the Midianitish woman that was slain was Cosbi, the daughter of Zer. He was head over a people and of a chief house of Midian. The Most High killed his daughter. The Most High spake unto Moses, saying, vex the Midianites and smite them, kill them. For they vex you with their wiles, wherewith they have beguiled you in the matter of Peor, and in the matter of Cosbi, see, the daughter of a prince of Midian, their sister, which was slain in the day of the plague for Peor's sake. See, I'm starting out with this, y'all. 1 Samuel 7 and 34. 1 Samuel 7 and 3. 1 Samuel 7 and 3. And until we cried to the Most High with humility and really cared, show we cared about him, why should he save us? And why did he save us? Because we cried to him. That's the solution that we have right now as a nation. 1 Samuel 7 and 3. And Samuel spake unto all the house of Israel, saying, if ye do return unto the Most High with all your hearts, then put away the strange idols and Astarot from among you. That's that feminine Semiramis and Diana, and all the rest of all the Astoreths here, select your Most High. Your hearts unto the Most High. He say, from among you, and prepare your hearts unto the Most High, and serve him only, and he will deliver you out of the hand of the Philistines. See this? He said he will deliver you out of the hand of the Philistines. Then the children of Israel did put away, Baalim, them idols, and that's the male idols, and when you see Astoreth, that's representing the feminine idols, and serve the Most High only. See. But we got to admit that we have sinned against the Most High. Second Kings 17. So I guess people that go to church, they would never know these stories, huh? They never read the Old Testament. They told them the Old Testament done away with, huh? They would know anything about what we did. How you gonna come out of what we doing now if you don't know what we did and we're doing the same thing? 2 Kings 17 and 16. And they left all the commandments of the Most High, their power, and made them molten images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshiped all the host of heaven, and served Baal. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire, and use divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Most High, to provoke him to anger. See this over and over again. Therefore the Most High was very angry with Israel, and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Listen, he removed all out of his sight except for the tribe of Judah. Also Judah kept not the commandments of the Most High, their power, but walked in the statutes of Israel. That's northern Israelites that we've been reading about all the time so far, mainly, which they made. And the Most High rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hand of spoilers, until he had cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drave Israel from following the Most High, and made them sin a great sin. But the children of Israel walked in all the sins of Jeroboam, which he did. Because when King Solomon, when you go back and look at what King Solomon did, we can't forget him, right? And what he did in 1 Kings 11. But King Solomon, verse 1, loved many strange women. These strange women are these women of these other nations, outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites. He loved women from the Chinese, all these so-called Chinese, Japanese, so-called Caucasians, Africans, other nations, concerning which the Most High said unto the children of Israel. We told us in Deuteronomy, the 7th chapter, the 3rd verse in the law that we read earlier, ye shall not go in to them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart, your mind, after their idols. Remember Psalms 96 and 5, for all the gods of the nations are idols, but the Most High made the heavens. Because they follow in the sun. They got the sun, the moon, the stars, comets, everything they follow. Whatever it is. Outside from the power of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the Most High is only our power. Other nations concerning which the Most High said unto to the children of Israel, to us, we the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them. So the Most High is not with interracial marriages. That's a sin too. Neither shall they come in unto you. Why? For surely they will turn away your heart, your mind after their idols. Solomon clave unto these in love. He clave unto these in love. He loved these strange women. You understand? That's why it's very important for you women that are of the children of Israel to learn these laws and learn what's right in the eyes of the Most High, so you don't be like these Gentile women, because it's no different if you like them and you try to change the man, just like Eve said, hey, come on, Adam. It's all right. It's going to be all right. She followed the serpent, another man. Another man was in her ear. And he bought what he said to Adam. And he went for it. Why we die today. We're supposed to live forever. Because he hadn't ate of the tree of life. He ate of the tree. Choose life or death. Tree of life is life. Death is the tree of knowledge of good and evil. They chose the tree of knowledge of good and evil. That's why we die. They had everlasting life. All they do is eat of the tree of life. Why the Most High put flaming swords around it? Why it's so hard for people to really come to a Mashiach Yahushua. They had a testimony of a Mashiach Yahushua in truth and righteousness, to understand him in the volume of the book as an angel of the Most High, the Spirit of the Most High, giving us understanding until this day. That he a spirit now. The angel of the Most High, back where he came from. As a spirit. Like we be spirits. Once you die, you got spirit of the Most High. You go back to the Spirit, go back to the Most High. We spirits. And he said to check you wherever your habitation going to be. And bring you back into this earth. As a spirit. Going into the man that's filled with children. Into the woman's womb. The Most High create the child in the woman's belly. From the man. But surely they will turn away your heart, your mind after their gods, after their idols. Solomon clave unto these in love. He loved these strange women of these other nations when he got old. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart. His wives turned away his mind. What came to pass when Solomon was old, he got older. And all you that get older, you got to think about this. When he got old, that his wives turned away his heart after other idols. And his heart, his mind was not perfect with the Most High, his power, as was the heart of David, his father. So Solomon went after all these gods. Astoreth, the goddess of the Sidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Most High, and went not fully after the Most High, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build an high place for that god, the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for that god, the abomination of the children of Ammon, and likewise did he for all his strange wives, because the Israelite women was dealing with the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which burnt incense and sacrifice unto their gods, unto their idols. And the Most High was angry with Solomon, like he was angry with us as the children of Israel. Every time we did this, is anything changed? Isn't it the same story? We just going from one story to the next story, to the next story, to the next story of what we did. And the Most High was angry with Solomon, because his heart, his mind was turned from the Most High power of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice. Most High came to him twice and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, after these nations' idols. But he kept not that which the Most High commanded. That's why the Most High rent the kingdom from King Solomon. He didn't do it during this time. He said he's going to do it once he died. So he died, and his son Rehoboam took over. And he rent the kingdom from him. That's why you had northern tribes, you had southern tribes. Before this time, all the time before this, we was all together, all 12 tribes. But once he did this, Most High split the kingdom. And then, like we just read about Jeroboam, we read about him in verse 28. Say, and the man Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. And Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made him ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. That's Ephraim. Joseph represented Ephraim, the northern tribes. And it came to pass at that time that when Jeroboam went out at Jerusalem, that the prophet Ahijah, the Hilonite, found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field. So he got a new garment, they two in the field by themselves, and Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces. Choo, 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 choo. Cut it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces. He said, you take 10 pieces. For thus said the Most High, the power of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. But he shall have 1 tribe for my servant David's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, the city which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, because that they have forsaken me, and have worshipped that God, the female, which represents Semiramis, queen of heaven, Astoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, Shamash, the god of the Moabites, and Milcom, the god of the children of Ammon, and have not walked in my ways, to do that which is right in the mine eyes, and to keep my statutes and my judgments, as did David his father. So he left from the tribe of Benjamin with Judah. And the Levites were the priests, so they was amongst all the tribes. Why I say 10 tribes? Because the Levites would have to be amongst them, because they were the Levites to teach the law and keep the laws within our nation. They didn't have any lands. They was given, their land was amongst us to teach us. And that's why we had to, bring the tithes and all that to the Levites, because they didn't have any land. We took care of them. Look at 2 Kings 17 and 16. So yeah, Jeroboam made 2 calves and said, this is who brought you out of the land of Egypt. So the Most High, look how we did. If you really love him, you claim you love him, then it should have an effect on you, some kind of way that you feel for him. Over and over again he said, don't do it. Like he came to Solomon 2 times. He said, don't do this, man. But he let his lust get the best of him with these other nations. He claves in them. Look. 2 Kings 17 and 16. And they left all the commandments of the Most High, their power. There's another personal possessive pronoun showing ownership. And made them molten images, even 2 calves, as I said. They made a grove and worshiped all the host of heaven and served Baal. And they caused their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire and use divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Most High to provoke him to anger. You can't say you can't tell me that they feared the Most High. No way, shape, or form. Therefore, the Most High was very angry with Israel and removed them out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. Also, Judah kept not the commandments of the Most High, their power, but walked in the statutes of Israel, which they made. See, it's cold, man. Most High removed us out of his sight. That's why that land over there is, nothing grows on it. It's just like the Dead Sea. Ain't nothing living in the Dead Sea. The land is the same way. You don't see no bush. You don't see no grass growing on its own. It's just dirt. Man, that was a fertile question. He gave us the best land. The land that he loved, but it's desolate. It's desolate now. Nothing's there. Let's continue. Go to Hosea 2, the 2nd chapter. Hosea, the 2nd chapter. But nothing happened with us until we cried to the Most High. Well, see, that's if you are one that's prideful, then this ain't gonna work for you. I'm not talking to you. You got your plight in the melting that the Most High said He gonna melt you if you don't change and repent and humble yourself and don't try. Mashak Shai said, "He that exalted himself shall be abased." You can be brought down, but he that humbled himself shall be exalted. Even King Ahab with his wicked butt did more wickedness than any king. He humbled himself, as we just read, right? And the Most High said, "Hey, he humbled himself," so He let him, go on until He killed him. He put him to death, but He still let him stay. He could have killed him right then. He didn't. Because He is very much full of compassion. Hosea, the 2nd chapter, verse 13. He said, "And I will visit upon her the days of Baalim, these idols, wherein she burned incense to them. And she decked herself with her earrings and her jewels, and she went after her lovers and forgot me, said the Most High." What you gonna do when He come for you? And you burning all these incense to these idols of these other nations. And you know it, you hearing it, and you still doing it. Oh, He gonna get you. That's why He say He gonna beat us with many stripes. That's why Israel, you can't go back. You can't, like they talk about backsliding. You don't want to do that now. You know what the Mashak Shai said? He said it's going to be great tribulation like I've not ever been in the world. I'm trying to figure out how can the great tribulation He's talking about be worse than killing everybody but 8 people. Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth and their wives. But He said it'll be worse than that. It can be worse than, they say drowning is a terrible way to go, but I don't know if I'd ever drowned and came back, you know what I mean? So to tell you how it is, but I know how it feels when you get water in your system and it go back to the back of you, hitting the back of your head. That's a hurtful feeling, So, but it's going to be worse than that. Look at verse 17. Verse 16, "And it shall be at that day, said the Most High, that thou shalt call me Ishi, and shalt call me no more Baali." That's a new one, right? That's a new one. Still dealing with the worship of these idols, the male idols. Still dealing with that, y'all. That's serious. He said, "Hey, you don't call me that no more. We're going to call him, hey, you my husband." Like Israel is symbolically His wife. When you read Jeremiah 6:2, "I've likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman," symbolically. So I say you're going to call him my husband. Symbolically, we're going to call him Ishi, which is my husband. "And shall call me no more that name," which is the idol god. People try to say they're trying to deal with whatever. That's still Lord. I showed you. Baal in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. What's the first thing it said? It called it Lord. And I seen footage where people saying they announcing that this is what it's called, and they still say it. They still saying it because they're not giving the spirit of the Most High. And all you out there still saying it, you still calling on Baal. That's why we're going over this. So you can see that's wrong. I don't care what name you call it. If it's still represented, it's still represented. Verse 17. "But I will take away the names of that name, Baalim. That's plural male idols, out of her mouth. Gonna take it out of her mouth. And they shall no more be remembered by their name. That's what I say. I'm telling you. That's what I feel that the Most High want you to do now, is take those names out of your mouth. That's consistently being said over and over again, Lord, which is Baal. Can you do it? You're doing it to me. You even had me, so I would just say AHMAN. That's another one that they got you, or AMEN. That's another idol that they got you calling on, Egyptian idol they got you calling on to enter your prayers. I know better, because I know that's not a Mashiach Shah name. Let me go there, so I got to keep reminding you of that. Revelation, is this Mashiach Shah name? Revelation 3:14. And to the angel of the church of the Laodiceans write, these things said the, bam, and it's in red. That's your Jesus. That's a Mashiach Yahushai. Supposedly, as they put it there, is that right or wrong? Is that his name? So at the end of your prayer, you give all homage to Mashiach Yahushai, Jesus Christ, as y'all call him, so-called Jesus Christ, as y'all call him. We say the anointed Savior of Mashiach Yahushai. So that's who you give homage to. Over the Most High. You done pray to the Most High, and in the end, you're going to say, give all homage to him. Is that him? Is this him? And unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans, right, these things said the, bam. Can I get up? Bam. That's what y'all saying. Is that him? Yes or no? Somebody got to answer. I've been asking this question for some time now. Y'all looking at this, anybody looking at the video, answer yes or no. Is that Mashiach Yahushai? Is that so-called Jesus Christ? That name right there. The faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of the Most High. Let me tell you something. The beginning of the creation of the Most High. So, the Most High created him first, right? Then the Most High created everything by AMEN, right? That Egyptian idol. It's interesting. It is amazing how they try and, it done slipped it in there. The faithful and true witness, the beginning of the creation of the Most High. The beginning of the creation of the Most High. So this is him. And that's who y'all call on. Because I know the Most High shut my mouth. I was really scared on that one. When I was getting ready to say it, I couldn't speak. And I was trying to speak. I could not say anything. Yeah, I felt that. Like I'm telling you about these things I'm telling you now. That we can change, you know? So that we can stop saying the things, because, look. So when you look at all this, look, go to Ezekiel 39:23. So when you understand this, and really in the spirit, if you're not in the spirit, you might not understand what it is that even what I'm going over and what I'm trying to get you to see, even with the solution of crying to the Most High. If you big-headed and stiff-necked, and you one of the ones that were so prideful, you probably the ones that they said, crucify Mashiach Yahushai, let his blood be on us and on our children. Because you still had those that believed in Mashiach Yahushai right there with the Pharisees. Y'all spirits coming back now, and your Sadducee spirits and your chief priest, high priest spirits, the same ones that said, crucify him and let his blood be on us and on our children. You had those that's mingled among them that was still down with them, afraid of losing their position, their power with the Romans, and the people not going to follow them. A lot of y'all about that. Y'all about trying to be somebody in hell. So yeah, it's talking to you. Look at Ezekiel 39:23. And the heathen, same ones that are not the children of Israel, this day shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity. So these other nations know we went into captivity, slavery, and bondage for our iniquity. Wickedness, being wicked. Not following the Most High's laws, like we've been reading all day. Evil against the Most High. Did evil in the sight of the Most High. These other nations know this. Because they trespassed against me. Hear that? Because they trespassed against the Most High. How we trespass against the Most High, but not keeping his laws? The same thing that these poach-out eating preachers telling you you're not under. That's why I keep saying laws. Most of the commandments, they say they're the same, but they have a problem with laws, saying the laws. We under the laws of the Most High because they wicked. Anybody that don't want to follow them, you wicked too and evil. A lot of y'all just bringing forth information. Spiritually, you ain't going to be endowed to be able to understand nothing that's coming out here. You can't do it because you're too prideful. How you going to be prideful and the Most High hate you for being pride? Pride is hateful before man and the Most High, it says. And that's when you turn away from following the Most High. He want a broken and contrite spirit. Better hear what he's saying. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity. And you leaders better not let nobody uplift you, exalt you. You better tell them all praise to the Most High and get away from, you ain't bringing it to me. Tell you that. I know too much. I know better than I know the Most High name is Judge. He said, I will melt you. You don't believe that? Wait till he visit you. All you that got some kind of high mind, you think you all that right now, you're going to find out. Every last one of you. You're going to bow down now, you're going to bow down later, but you're going to bow down. Straight up. To the Most High, and you're going to bow down to a Mashiach Yahushua when he bring forth his wrath. He hanging out with Michael, the archangel of war, ready to come to judge and make war. Say blood going to be all over his garment. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for the times that we in now? They got all kind of, you think they just going to give us the kingdom? Do you really think they just going to give us the kingdom? Ain't no kingdom came without bloodshed. They ain't giving up this kingdom as it is written. But here they know we're in the captivity for our iniquity, so they're going to give you the right way to reach the Most High. I'm talking about the elite. All y'all don't know, just run around here doing whatever y'all do like a chicken with his head cut off, in the truth or whatever you're doing, or whatever you're dealing with. Y'all ain't studying the elite. Y'all ain't studying what they doing. You ain't studying being wise as serpents, harmless as a dove. Y'all just looking at whatever come on the news and y'all being reporters of that crap. Trump already told you that the news is fake. Come on, man. They got another level of, that's why I say we dealing with demons in high places. Demons in high places. That's dealing with running all this here. And y'all don't want to know? When it come down, what you going to do? Oh, help me, help me. You supposed to be knowing these things. So when you know, that's why I say be wise as serpents, harmless as a dove. You got time to be looking at all this. I mean, you can see all this. All this is available to us. Why are we so docile? Want to remain in darkness? When he say that, and the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity, for being wicked, as we done went through all day long, because they trespassed against